please call the roll.
Griffin.
Here.
Bishop. Conwell. Gray. Hairston. Harsh. House. Jones. Casey. Kelly. Moorer. McCormack. Polensik. Santana. Slife. Spencer. Starr. You have a quorum, Mr. President.
Thank you. Will everyone please rise for a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, please dispense with the journal.
By Councilmember Kelly, that the reading of the minutes of the last meeting be dispensed with, the journal approved, seconded by Councilmember Jones.
We will now move to public comment. I know we have several guests, and I will acknowledge them in the order that they've come. First, we have Adam Rosen. He's from Ward 15, and he's here to talk about the value of the Jewish community in Cleveland. He's not representing anyone, and he is not being paid by anyone. Mr. Rosen.
Hello. Thank you, Council President Griffin and members of Council, for allowing me the opportunity to provide public comment tonight. I want to recognize the privilege of public comment, the activists that made it happen, the buy-in from this body, and the ongoing forum for citizens to address you in this sacred hall. My name is Adam Rosen, and I'm an attorney, and I live and work in Ward 15. I'm also a member of the Cleveland Jewish Federation Community Relations Committee, which works to build relationships between the Jewish community and all the diverse communities of Cleveland. Your esteemed colleague, Councilman McCormack, encouraged me to provide comment tonight in response to the anti-Jewish and homophobic remarks made last week. Because the Jewish story is very much intertwined with the Cleveland story, when cracks emerge that divide us, we must call out this hate for the future we are dreaming of. I am very proud to be a Jewish Clevelander, and I am proud to be living out my values in a city where those of every race and all creeds live and work in harmony. In 2018, while working with the Detroit Chartway CDC, I had the opportunity to assist with the Cleveland Historic Landmark designation of the First Street Cemetery, the second oldest Jewish cemetery in Cleveland, where Jews were buried starting in 1865 until the last burial in 1971. As the Cleveland story goes, when people in the city made a better life for themselves, they picked up and moved to the burbs. Significant populations of Jews in Glenville, Kinsman, and Huff moved further into the newly developed suburbs in the 1950s and 60s. Over time, the cemetery fell into disrepair and remained that state until about 15 years ago, when a group of residents and stakeholders, led by the late Judge Raymond Pianka, took matters into their own hands and began restoring the cemetery. As you know, the landmarks designation process is a meaningful connection to our past, where we celebrate the places where individuals and communities have made lasting contributions that have enriched our city. The landmark designation of the First Street Cemetery was a heartfelt appreciation of the partnership between the city, my neighborhood, and the Jewish community. It had a lasting impact on me. Jews moved to Cleveland to pursue a better life and the freedom to practice our traditions, which have been passed down from generation to generation. The Jewish people have made a home here and have made innumerable contributions to industry, commerce, and culture throughout our city's history. And we will continue to do so for generations to come. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next up we have Jenna Thomas, and Jenna is from Ward 16. She wants to talk about a week without driving. She's representing Bike Cleveland, and she is being paid by Bike Cleveland. Jenna, you have the floor.
Cool, thank you guys. Thank you, Council President Griffin and members of City Council and the administration for giving me the opportunity to speak tonight. For those who don't know me, my name is Jenna Thomas, and I am the Policy and Advocacy Manager at Bike Cleveland. And last week you heard from my friend and colleague Joe Schwarten about the upcoming Week Without Driving. We've made it. And this is a week of action founded by disability rights advocates with the hope of prompting our decision makers to step into the shoes of their constituents and experience firsthand all the challenges that come with living car-free. And while we really, really would love you to engage with this and participate on some level, even more important is what you choose to do to improve transportation going forward. The city's capital improvement plan includes funding for some exciting projects, including the Superior Midway and the Memorial Bridges Loop. And these projects have been a long time coming. Thank you to everyone that helped make those happen. But still, they will only account for less than 3 miles of separated bike facilities. And at this rate, we simply could not achieve our vision for a 15-minute city where all residents can access their needs without having to take an hour bus trip or spend thousands more every year maintaining a second car. This is why it's critical that the city funds quick-build roadway improvements using lower-cost materials. The Back to Basics infrastructure funding was a great start, but this will require funding committed year after year and towards traffic calming and bike lane upgrades and transit accommodations. I know that given all of the issues that you all deal with day to day, transportation and bike lanes especially might not feel particularly urgent. And when we think of basic needs, transportation is often not one of the first things that comes to mind. But I think that if you did commit to not driving all week long, you would quickly see how urgent this issue is for residents of Cleveland. People need to reach their jobs and their school and doctor's appointments and grocery stores. And in addition to all of the benefits this has on safety and economic development, a connected and accessible mobility network also keeps our social support system strong. And so this Wednesday morning from 7:30 a.m. to 9 a.m., we will be in Public Square, all the participating organizations, with free donuts and coffee for all car-free commuters. So I invite you to stop by and chat with us about our priorities. So yeah, thanks so much.
Thank you. Next, we have Rabbi Scott Rowland. He is from Beechwood. The topic that he would like to talk about is building community relationships. He is not representing anyone and not being paid by anyone. Rabbi Rowland.
Thank you so much for the honor. My name is Rabbi Scott Rowland. I'm the spiritual leader of Congregation Shari Tikva in Beechwood. Over the past number of years, Jews worldwide have been subjected to increased incidents of anti-Semitic rhetoric and physical violence. We are a minority community, accounting for only 0.2% of the world population. In the United States of America, only 2.4% of the population identify as members of our Jewish community, our Jewish people. By comparison, Black Americans make up nearly 14% of the U.S. population. We are very small. And yet we are a strong minority, willing and able to invest in protecting ourselves and others. However, we've inherited a tradition that teaches us that each and every human is descended from the first human, Adam, the biblical Adam, so that no one can claim that they are better than anyone else. When asked about the most important verse in the Hebrew Bible, our sage Rabbi Hillel said, "Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha," love your fellow as yourself. To be a Jew is to be a seeker and a lover of peace. And so it is painful to know that Jew hatred reared its ugly head in this room last week. Not to mention the LGBTQIA plus community, who was also hurtfully attacked. That said, last week's commenter did make one statement with which I happen to agree. In fact, Judaism is not a religion. We are a people, an ethnicity with shared memory. We are inseparably bound together by nearly 4,000 years of Jewish history and by our connection to the land of Israel, of which we are indigenous. And we will not stand idly by while hatred is spewed in our midst, nor will we tolerate anyone spitting venom at anyone else in our midst. And so, on behalf of the Jewish community here in Cleveland, I'm grateful to Council President Griffin and to all the members of Council for silencing voices of hatred and bigotry and lifting up voices of love and voices of peace. We are committed to building a loving, peaceful relationship, meaningful relationships with all of our neighbors, and we thank you on behalf of the Jewish community, each and every one of you here, for your commitment to the same. And so I'll conclude with words from our tradition. These are the same words that every Jew, at the end of our personal prayers, we end our prayers with the words, Oseh Shalom Bimromav, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu. The Holy One of blessing who makes peace in the heavens should make peace for each and every one of us here in our world. And we say, Amen. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And last up, we have Phyllis Seven Harris. And Phyllis Seven Harris is from the Woodland Larchmere community. She's representing Cleveland's LGBTQ community as neighbors, co-workers, business owners, family members, and friends. And she is representing the LGBT Community Center of Greater Cleveland, and she is not being paid by anyone. Ms. Phyllis Harris.
Thank you. Good evening, City Council members. My name is Phyllis Harris, and I'm honored to address you today. As Executive Director of the LGBT Community Center of Greater Cleveland, a lifelong Clevelander, and currently a resident of the Larchmere Woodland neighborhood, I want to express my appreciation to City Council for their service to our community and for giving me the opportunity to share my thoughts with you. First, a little information about the organization I represent. The LGBT Community Center of Greater Cleveland was founded in 1975 as a volunteer-run organization to provide support, resources, and advocacy for the LGBTQ+ community in Cleveland, Ohio. We're one of the first established LGBT community centers in the nation. If you're a Clevelander, be proud that we have supported the life and breath and needs of the LGBTQ community here in Cleveland. It's super important. 50 years in 2025, one of the first established in the nation. There's about 250. Over its 48-year history, the center has grown into a vibrant hub of LGBTQ life in Cleveland. We provide a range of services and programming, including support including support groups, health and wellness resources, youth and senior programs, and community events. The center has played an essential role in advocating for LGBTQ+ rights and visibility in Cleveland, working with local organizations and government officials to promote inclusivity and equality. I have some friends in the room: Carrie McCormick, Blaine Griffin, all of Jenny Spencer, all of, this is our city. I see lots of friends here, some I didn't name. Since 2018, the City of Cleveland has had a comprehensive non-discrimination ordinance that includes sexual orientation and gender identity. This ordinance protects LGBTQ+ people by banning discrimination in housing, employment, and public accommodations. Cleveland is fortunate to have this legally binding commitment to equality. Its ongoing commitment to advancing the rights of LGBTQ+, its ongoing commitment to advancing LGBTQ+ rights and visibility has helped make Cleveland a more inclusive and supportive community for all of us, for everyone. Our collective strength, including our allies, our Jewish brothers and sisters and siblings, should not be underestimated. This is evident with our partnership with the city to present Pride in a CLE, where thousands of people show up in solidarity with the LGBTQ community here in Cleveland and Greater Cleveland. As the Ohio legislator and others across the country scapegoat the LGBTQ+ community, especially trans individuals, our LGBTQ+ identities have become as political as ever. Discrimination and stress accompanying it have created a physical and mental crisis for LGBTQ+ people, especially our youth. Affirmation and acceptance are hugely important in combating this. Studies show that living in affirming environments lower rates of suicide. LGBTQ+ people are our family, our neighbors, friends, and coworkers. Cleveland must continue to actively affirm and welcome LGBTQ+ people, and I know that you will, right? We got this. In closing, I'm going to leave you with a quote by the late LGBT equality activist Barbara Giddings. Equality means more than passing laws. You all know this, right? It means more than passing laws. The struggle is really won in the hearts and minds of the community where it really counts. And it counts for us to be safe in our community, in our greater Cleveland, in Cleveland. Thank you.
Thank you. I also usually wait till the end, but I know that some may leave because of time commitments, but I also want to make sure I acknowledge Mark Ashed, and Mark Ashed is from the Jewish Community Federation, chair of the Government Affairs Relations Committee. So thanks for being here today. Madam Clerk, please move to communications.
File number 1124-2023 from Mayor Justin M. Bibb, appointment to Fair Employment Wage Board. File number 1125-2023 from Jessica Sheldon, Vice President of Beacon Communities, notice of intent to apply to Ohio Housing Finance Agency for multifamily funding programs for the development known as Empire Junior High School, affordable housing for senior residents at 9113 Parmalee Avenue, Ward 9. File number 1146-2023, oath of office for Rayshawn Long, Assistant Director, Civil Service Commission. File number 1147-2023, oath of office for Thomas S. McNair, Director, Department of Economic Development. From the Ohio Division of Liquor Control, file number 1126-2023, regarding a new license application at the Cleveland Museum of Art, 1460 West 29th Street, Ward 3. File number 1127-2023, regarding a transfer of ownership application at 2801 Bridge Avenue, Ward 3. File number 1128-2023, regarding a new license application at 16605 South Miles Road, Ward 1. File number 1129-2023, regarding a transfer of ownership application at 3916 East 123rd Street, Ward 2. File number 1130-2023, regarding an economic development transfer at 730-84 Euclid Avenue, Ward 3. File number 1131-2023, regarding a stock application at 7602 Madison Avenue, Ward 15. File number 1132-2023, regarding a transfer of ownership application at 11240 Bellflower Road, Ward 6.
Are there any condolence resolutions?
No.
Are there any other condolence resolutions? Councilwoman Santana.
Sorry. Oh my God, I forgot the last name. I'll get you the last name, but I can't believe this is coming out of my mouth. But I do want to pull a number for that 3-year-old that was killed in Ward 14. His first name is Lewis, but I think his last name is Diaz, but I'll confirm that information.
So noted.
Thank you. Please hold out a number for Freddie. For the father of Angela Shute Woodson, our own director, Angela Shute Woodson, Angela Tony Shute. Father of Angela Shute Woodson, director Angela Shute Woodson. Please hold out a number for Anthony Tony Shute. Are there any other condolence resolutions, Councilman Hairston?
A number for Martha Smith.
So noted.
Thank you. Are there any other condolence resolutions? Seeing no other condolence resolutions, will everyone please rise for a moment of silence? Thank you. Congratulatory resolutions.
There are none.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, first reading emergency ordinances referred for administrative review and committee review.
Ordinance 1133-2023 by Council Members Hairston and Griffin by departmental request to amend Section 183.021 of the codified ordinances relating to land reutilization programs. Ordinance 1134-2023 by Council Members Hairston and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the Director of Community Development to consent to the assumption of a contract by Famicos for construction of the Lakeview Place development located in Forest Hills neighborhood, and authorizing the director to enter into an amendment to that contract to change certain terms. Ordinance 1135, 2023, by Council Members Hairston and Griffin by departmental request. An emergency ordinance to discontinue the divisions of neighborhood services, neighborhood development, and administrative services by repealing sections 137.07, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 of the codified ordinances as amended by various ordinances, and to establish the divisions of community programming, program operations, enterprise operations, residential improvement, housing development, and property utilization within the Department of Community Development by enacting new sections 137.05 through 12 and 137.121 and 121, 22, 23, and 24 relating to the duties of the new commissioners. Ordinance 1136, 2023, by Council Members Casey and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the Director of Public Utilities to enter into one or more contracts with the Cleveland Water Alliance for professional services necessary to provide state-of-the-art water quality detection equipment and to deploy, maintain, and retrieve data from 4 buoys in Lake Erie for the Division of Water, Department of Public Utilities for a period up to 3 years. Ordinance 137, 2023, by 1137, 2023, by Councilmember Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the purchase by one or more requirement contracts of paper and envelopes for the various divisions of city government for a period of 1 year with 2 one-year options to renew, exercisable by the Director of Finance. Ordinance 1138, 2023, by Councilmember Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the purchase by one or more requirement contracts of Group 1, 2, and 3 copiers and services for the various divisions of city government for a period of 5 years with 3 one-year options to renew, exercisable by the Director of Finance. Ordinance 1141, 2023, by Council Members Bishop and Griffin by departmental request to amend various sections of the codified ordinances as amended by various sections, to repeal sections 505, 04, 05, 07 to 10 as amended by various ordinances, to supplement the codified ordinances by enacting new sections 502.01 to 06, 503.014, and 505.16, 514.091 relating to sidewalks and rights of way generally.
First reading emergency ordinances to be passed.
Ordinance 1139, 2023, by Councilmember Griffin by departmental request, approving the collective bargaining agreement with the International Union of Painters and Allied Trades, District Council 6, AFL-CIO Local 639, and to amend Section 13 of Ordinance 194, 2021, as amended relating to salaries for various classifications. Ordinance 1140, 2023, by Councilmember Griffin by departmental request, approving the collective bargaining agreement with the International Association of Firefighters Local 93, ARFF, and to amend Section 29 of Ordinance 194, 2021, as amended, relating to salaries for various classifications. Ordinance 1142, 2023, by Councilmembers Polensek and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the Director of Public Safety to enter into one or more contracts without competitive bidding with MD Helicopters, LLC, for the purchase of labor and materials needed to convert 2 helicopters for the Division of Police, Department of Public Safety. Ordinance 1143, 2023, by Councilmember Griffin by departmental request, approving the collective bargaining agreement with International Local 100, AFSCME, Ohio Council 8, AFL-CIO, and to amend Section 8 of Ordinance 194, 2021, as amended, relating to salaries for various classifications. Ordinance 1148, 2023, by Councilmember Polensek, authorizing the Director of Department of Community Development authorizing the Director of the Department of Community Development, I think, to enter into agreement with LMB Consulting LLC for commercial revitalization services for East 185th Street through the use of Ward 8 casino revenue funds. Ordinance 1149, 2023, by Councilmember Spencer, authorizing the Director of Department of Community Development to enter into agreement with Northwest Neighborhoods Community Development Corporation for the Summer Safety Film Series 2023 through the use of Ward 15 casino revenue funds.
Read the motion to suspend the rules.
By Councilmember Kelly, that the rules be suspended and the legislation just read be placed on final passage, seconded by Councilmember Jones.
Call the roll.
Griffin, Bishop, Conwell, Gray, Hairston, Harsh, House, Jones, Casey, Kelly, Moore, McCormack, Polensek, Santana, Slife, Spencer, Starr. 16 yeas.
I want to acknowledge Councilman Charles Slight.
Please mark me as a no on 1142.
All right, thank you.
So
Call the
noted.
roll on passage.
Griffin, Bishop, Conwell, Gray, Hairston, Harsh, House, Jones, Casey, Kelly, Moore, McCormack, Polensek, Santana, Slife, Spencer, Starr. 1142 is 15 yeas, 1 nay. All the rest are yea.
All right, thank you. First reading emergency resolutions to be adopted.
Resolution 1144, 2023, by Councilmember Harsh, objecting to a new C1 liquor permit at 5603 Memphis Avenue. Resolution 1145, 2023, by Councilmember Spencer, objecting to a new C1 liquor permit at 8404 Madison Avenue.
Plus you need Wi-Fi. Read the motion to suspend the rules.
By Councilmember Kelly, that the rules be suspended and the legislation just read be placed on final passage, seconded by Councilmember Jones.
Call the roll.
Griffin, Bishop, Conwell, Gray, Hairston, Harsh, House, Jones, Casey, Kelly, Moore, McCormack, Polensek, Santana, Slife, Spencer, Starr. 16 yeas.
Call the roll on adoption.
Griffin, Bishop, Conwell, Gray, Hairston, Harsh, House, Jones, Casey, Kelly, Moore, McCormack, Polensek, Santana, Slife, Spencer, Starr. 16 yeas.
Second reading emergency ordinances to be passed.
Ordinance 432, 2023, as amended, by Councilmembers Casey and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the purchase by one or more requirement contracts of materials, equipment, supplies, and services needed to maintain, repair, or replace components of electrical, transmission, and distribution systems, including labor for the Division of Cleveland Public Power, Department of Public Utilities, for a period up to 2 years. Ordinance 583, 2023, by Councilmembers Casey, Hairston, and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the Director of Finance to enter into a development agreement with Sci-Fi Networks or its designee, successors, or assignees to install, operate, and maintain a citywide fiber optic network system in the city's public right-of-way for a period of 30 years with 5 10-year automatic renewals.
Read the motion to suspend the rules.
I'm still going.
Okay.
Ordinance 860, 2023, as amended by Councilmember Polensek to supplement the codified ordinances by amending Section 605-14 as amended related to minors curfew. Ordinance 892, 2023, as amended by Councilmembers McCormack, Bishop, and Griffin by departmental request to amend Sections 517.02 and 08 of the codified ordinances, and Ordinance 464, passed June 3rd, 2020, and Ordinance 464, 2019, passed June 3rd, 2019, relating to shared mobility device and bicycle vendor permit applications. Ordinance 908, 2023, as amended by Councilmembers Polensek and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the Director of Public Safety to renew a lease agreement with Cuyahoga County for the lease of certain space located on various floors of the Justice Center for a term of 1 year beginning October 2nd, 2023. Ordinance 10/27/2023 by Councilmember Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the Director of Finance to employ one or more professional consultants to assist in the implementation of the Governmental Accounting Standards Board Statement Number 96, subscription-based information technology arrangements, and any other future GASB implementations for the city's annual comprehensive financial report, and to assist in the preparation and calculation of current GASBs that are already implemented in the city, and to transfer that knowledge to the appropriate city personnel for a period of 1 year with 2 one-year options to renew, exercisable by the Director of Finance. Ordinance 10/28/2023 as amended by Councilmember Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the Director of Finance to enter into one or more agreements with the Convention and Visitors Bureau of Greater Cleveland, DBA Destination Cleveland, to establish, manage, and implement the Cleveland Major Events Grant Program to provide grants to assist with acquiring and executing high-profile events benefiting the city, and to apply for and accept any gifts or grants for this purpose from any public or private entity. Ordinance 1084/2023 by Councilmember Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the Director of Finance on behalf of Cleveland Municipal Court to apply for and accept a grant from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration for the Recovery Project 5 to expand evidence-based treatment for specialized dockets defendants, and authorizing the Director to enter into one or more contracts with various agencies, entities, or individuals to implement the grant.
Call the roll.
President,
Councilwoman Santana.
can you mark me a no for ordinance number 583/2023?
Councilwoman
noted.
House.
Can you mark me a no for 908, please?
So noted.
All right. Councilman Slider.
Also mark me as a no for 908.
For, which one?
908.
908. So noted.
All right. Call the roll on passage. Suspend the rules. Read the motion to suspend the rules.
That the rules be suspended and the legislation just read be placed on final pass, by Councilmember Kelly, that the rules be suspended and the legislation just read be placed on final passage, seconded by Councilmember Jones.
Call the roll.
Griffin, Bishop, Conwell, Gray, Hairston, Harsh, House, Jones, Casey, Kelly, Moore, McCormack, Polensek, Santana, Slife, Spencer, Starr. 16 yeas.
Call the roll on passage.
Griffin, Bishop, Conwell, Gray, Hairston, Harsh, House, Jones, Casey, Kelly, Moore, McCormack, Polensek, Santana, Slife, Spencer, Starr. On 908/2023, there are 14 yeas, 2 nays. On 583/2023, there are 15 yeas, 1 nay. On all others, 16 yeas, no nays.
All right. We'll move to introductions. Are there any introductions? Seeing no introductions, are there any announcements? Any announcements? Councilwoman Moore.
I apologize. I just missed an introduction, if you don't mind. Kathy McDonald and her son, Ed McDonald, as you know. I know. I'm sorry. Ward 12 and joint Ward 12 and Ward 5, beloved residents. I know there are some neighbors here today.
Councilman Starr.
And we got to include Bonnie and Joan as well. Like Councilwoman just said, the Ward 5, St. Hanson, Silent Village leaders who always stay engaged. Thank you for
For those of you who haven't gotten a chance to meet him, we have a new Economic Development Director, Tom McNair. If he could raise his hand, Tom McNair. Tom comes from Ohio City. I know that Councilman McCormick knows him very well. He's also a resident in the Shaker Square area, so comes with a lot of experience, and I'm pretty sure that everybody's going to look forward to working with him, so good to meet you. All right, any miscellaneous? Any miscellaneous? Miscellaneous. Councilman Polensek and Councilman McCormick.
Thank you, Mr. President, my honorable colleagues, honorable mayor, members of the administration. I want to rise to talk on 3 topics. First, the ordinance 1142-23, the helicopter piece that came before us today. I don't have to tell anyone how important this piece of legislation is, and I want to thank my colleagues for overwhelmingly supported it. And I understand some of the concerns that were raised as well due to the length of time. We passed the original piece in March of 2022. Then we found out there sometime later from the administration that the company that had been awarded the contract went into bankruptcy. So it's been a long, long time. But as the governor indicated about the council president and myself, how critical the helicopters were working with the surge initiative that they had with the Ohio Highway Patrol, and how effective they were, where they did not have to pursue, they didn't have to chase. They were able to catch the suspects. They got guns, they got drugs, they got contraband, they got outstanding warrants, stolen cars, etc. So we all know how important the helicopters were. So I want to just say again to the administration, with the passage of this legislation today under emergency, there's got to be a priority to get those helicopters repaired and up in the air. We need to have them flying so we can identify these perpetrators that are committing these acts of violence in our neighborhood. Number two, I want to thank my colleagues for supporting ordinance number 860, the minors' curfew. I don't have to tell anyone the problem that we've experienced in this city. I've seen it firsthand myself with kids. I mean, 12 and 13-year-old kids out in the middle of the night. I don't get it. I raised 5 kids. My mother raised 4 of us. We weren't running the streets in the middle of the night. I don't understand how you can have a 12 and 13-year-old out at 2 and 3 and 4 o'clock in the middle of the night and you don't know where your kids are. So I want to thank my colleagues for supporting that legislation, those who gave input, Councilwoman Stephanie House-Jones for her amendments. But I want to say to the administration, especially to the safety director and the CPD, we have taken the action. Now it's up to CPD to enforce the law. Enforce the curfew law in this city. Enforce the curfew law. For what we've experienced here is absolutely outrageous. And believe me, I've never seen anything like it in my time here within the body. And you want to have kids, be responsible for them. Take care of them. And let's find out when they're out late night what is going on in their lives so we can correct it so they don't become another statistic either at the funeral home or in jail. Because I'm sick of seeing this violence and I'm sick of seeing kids throw their lives away. You know, I stood at a casket recently for a young man who was killed on the 9th, 16-year-old that was shot. I stood next to his casket in Amani Temple up there in Cleveland Heights, and I said to myself, standing next to that kid's casket, looking at this handsome kid, what could he have been? What could he have become? Looking at his family, devastated. And then when I was driving down from there to the public hall for the swearing in of the police cast to be with the mayor and the council president, I asked myself, how many times did I stand next to a casket? How many times did I stand in a emergency room looking at some lifeless kid on a gurney with their eye always the same, their eyes are open with this look on their face like, what the hell happened to me? I'm sick of it. I'm sick of the violence. I'm sick of these kids and these kids running the streets and parents not held accountable. Judge Early said to me personally, you cite the parents for the curfew violations, we'll get them in a court and we'll figure out what's going on in their lives. We need to do that. Too many wasted lives in this city. And the last thing I wanted to touch on, Mr. Chairman, is this issue with the police reports, which has really got me worked up. Last week, we had a drive-by shooting on St. Clair of a 14-year-old girl. Thank God she wasn't killed. I requested a copy of the police report. I want to direct my comments to the law director. I get the police report. Everything's redacted. It's redacted. Even the ambulance unit. What even ambulance unit transported her? What fire truck was redacted? No names, no nothing. I looked at the report. I said, this report is worthless to me. It's absolutely worthless to me. I know this was a call by the law department as it pertains, based on this so-called Marcy's Law. But there's got to be a happy medium here. There's got to be a happy medium here. I want to know who the victims are. I want to know who the alleged perpetrators are, because as everybody in this room knows, I write letters. I write letters to kids that have been involved in violence, to their parents, hoping that I can somehow touch them and reach them and talk with them, as I've offered on so many occasions to sit down with these kids. But in all my years in city council, Mr. President, I never had a problem getting police reports. In all my years here, I'm a public official. I never had a problem getting police reports. I never had a problem finding out who the victims were, because I interact with the victims, as I interacted with this young man's mother and family who was killed on the 9th, who's been in my office on 2 occasions. Law Director Griffin, there's got to be some meeting of the minds here. There's got to be some common ground. Don't give me a report that's worthless, that means nothing to me. That's unacceptable as a public official. I will not accept that issue. So I don't care what you have to do internally. When a member of this body, the 17 members of us, ask for information on police reports, doggone it, we got to get it. We got to get it. We are public officials. We are elected. And with the information we're asking for is not unreasonable. I'm not aware of anybody in this body that took those police reports and misused them. If someone can point that out to me, please tell me that. I'm not aware of that. But this report that I got last week of this girl being shot was worthless to me. And I won't accept that, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Councilman Kerry McCormick.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I also would like to welcome Ward 4's Tom McNair to the team. Unfortunately, he has to continue to work with me, but also my 16 colleagues. I've harassed him for the past 8 years on city council, so he continues to get my abuse. No, he's a great addition to the team. Mr. Chairman, I wanted to rise tonight on a positive note after last week. Thank Rabbi Rowland, Adam Rosen, as well as Phyllis Seven-Harris for coming tonight and showing the beautiful side of our Jewish and LGBTQ plus communities that we all know. It is not easy to come and speak out against hate, Mr. Chairman. It is not a simple task to do, but in today's times it is necessary when faced with aversion to come out and speak on behalf of communities that historically have been sidelined. And so I just really want to thank them for being here tonight. What I have found, Mr. Chairman, is when you talk on issues like this, people hear you. Even if you don't think they do, they hear you. And so I want to thank those that came tonight and had the courage to stand up and speak truth about the beauty of Cleveland's diverse community and why it's so important that we work together as one city, no matter who you are, and join together. So I wanted to recognize them, thank them for coming here tonight. And Mr. President, I want to thank you for your leadership and making sure that everyone knows that this body stands for diversity, equity, and inclusion, and we will speak up in the face of hate. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Joseph Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I rise to, as members of council and out here on a daily basis, we handle all the problems and issues, and we get the good and the bad. And oftentimes, we hear a lot of the bad and the worst. And sometimes as council members, we don't give praise where praise is due, and I like to give praise where praise is due. For the last, I would say, 5 years, I've had it on the chin with vacant lots. And complaining here at the table with members of Cleveland City Council, with the newer members here as well as the old ones, and talked about how bad it was and just how I did not have to deal with the vacant lot issue when I was in council before. It never came to my attention because it never was an issue. And then coming back and having one big, huge super department that dealt with properties, parks, and maintenance, and then also combined streets and public service. And so for me, coming back and seeing that, I don't know why, maybe overall why it was put together, maybe to cut or to save money, but it did not provide the kind of services that the citizens of the city of Cleveland needed and deserved. It seemed like most of the work that was being done in our streets and in our city was being pulled back. So our citizens were paying more and receiving less in city services. And so this year, we have seen a marked improvement in our neighborhoods. And I want to just take this time to thank the mayor of the city of Cleveland, Justin Bibb, and I'd like to also thank the director of the department, who has been working feverishly to be available when I make those phone calls to you. I really appreciate that. That's Mr. Frank Williams. So thank you for your service. What I think is a good point, and as a humble suggestion, was taken to see how we could put in a contracting piece inside the department. And how we put that piece in matters, because you always want to put a piece in that's going to be successful. And what that means is setting the foundation correctly the first time. And so though you've gotten started in that, it is my hope to the administration that we can expand that program and talk about how we can start reaching and having critical mass to touch all of these vacant yards and these vacant lots, and being able to have a real impact on that. But that means laying the groundwork. So I just want to say, keep up the good work. I don't have any problems working with you to help you with laying that foundation on the contracting side. I know it inside and out. I want to see our city flourish. I want to see our citizens not upset about those vacant lots, and I want to see those improvements. But again, kudos to the department for the change, as well as to the administration for moving towards the direction of dealing with that. And in today's meeting, one of the things that I enjoyed most was that some of the people went out to go and see the vacant lots, to see that the trash and the debris and the grass was all on the outside, and to make the effort to clean that up. So with that, moving forward with quality and efficiency, I enjoyed the presentation, and I look forward to working with your department. Again, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Oh, Councilwoman Spencer.
Thanks, Council President. I will be brief. We've talked a lot about last week's public comment period, which was extremely difficult, extremely uncomfortable, and in many moments totally unacceptable. And wanted to speak to how proud I was 2.5 years ago to be one of the members of this body who championed public comment, so proud to have it part of our rules. But I wanted to state that we're 2.5 years in, and although I'm not a member of our Rules Committee and I don't want to put more work on very full plates, I know we cannot infringe free speech, but I think 2.5 years in, I think we can consider taking a fresh look at our rules and ensure that they are welcoming to the very people we absolutely do want to hear from, who are the residents of Cleveland we serve day in and day out. We want to hear about their troubles and what's on their minds, and how we as a body and how the administration can make their lives better. So I would be glad to support the work of the Rules Committee in looking at our current rules for public comment. I think it's extremely important. I'm so proud that this body has a public comment period. And I would also say, Council President, that there are moments when you have, very rare moments when you have gavelled down a speaker. That's very difficult. And I think, too, just making sure our rules are totally clear about those moments when we do and do not do that. So thank you.
Thank you. I will tell you we had a preliminary conversation with our attorneys today. We do have some things that we want to revisit and look at regarding our rules, so we'll be engaging the entire body on those. We do really want to make sure that we allow free speech. We want to make sure that we give everybody the opportunity, but we also want to limit the ability for anybody to be abusive to any race, sexual orientation, culture, or religion. So those are things that we'll determine as we deliberate as a body, and we do have staff working on all of those different proposals, okay? All right. I will move, Madam Clerk, to excuse the absences, if you could.
By Councilmember Kelly, that the absence of Councilmember Casey is hereby excused, seconded by Councilmember Jones.
This meeting of council is adjourned to the next regular meeting on October the 9th, 2023. Thank you.